From the ABC 15 investigators, Arizona Air National Guard members in a battle for benefits.
Yeah, just weeks ago, we told you about Major Christine Jornis' 2-year effort to get medical care benefits and pay after a service-related medical condition prevented her from piloting military aircraft. She told us over the weekend she hopes to retire as soon as the Department of Defense can calculate her final back pay and leave time.
She's inspiring others to speak out, including another Guard member from the same unit, the 161st Air Refueling Wing. Recently retired Lieutenant Colonel Jeremy Schuld coming forward with his story of benefits denial, trusting ABC 15 investigator Melissa Blasius to tell his story.
Jeremy Schuld joined the military to battle terrorism.
Just after September 11th. When you see terrorists fly airplanes into buildings, you want to go do something about it.
20 years later, he did not expect to end his military service in a battle for benefits.
It was a rough way to end a otherwise very good career.
A career that took him to combat zones overseas, but also stateside. 5 years as an Air Force flight instructor on this plane, a T-6 Texan.
The T-6s, you were teaching dogfighting skills.
We were, yeah, basic introduction to dogfighting.
What kind of G's would you routinely pull in those?
Routinely 4 and 5, and then sometimes up to 6 and 7 G's.
That's a huge amount of pressure on the body, equivalent to 7 times the force of gravity.
I didn't have actually any concern at the time.
But after moving to Arizona and joining the National Guard's 161st Air Refueling Wing, Schuld needed spine surgeries, 5 in all.
My initial surgery was on the lumbar.
His doctor attributed the degenerative disc disease to the lieutenant colonel's high G flying, and by age 40, Schuld realized he was no longer physically able to serve.
I was referred to the MEB process, the Medical Evaluation Board, in November of 2021, and I retired in December of 2023. So it took just over 2 years to navigate the system.
And you're still fighting it?
Still fighting it, yes.
Still fighting, and here's why. Along with his medical retirement, Lieutenant Colonel Schuld applied for combat-related special compensation. Now, it's a bit of a misnomer because service members with non-combat injuries can qualify if they were hurt during hazardous service or during an exercise simulating war.
Lieutenant Colonel Schuld's attorney citing a Defense Department definition of hazardous service.
Such service will include, but will not be limited to, aerial flight duty. And then it goes on, it lists parachute duty, demolition duty, diving duty, but the number one, for example, that the Department of Defense gives is aerial flight duty. There could be no simpler case here.
But the Air Force repeatedly denied Schuld's request. At the informal physician evaluation board, no. At the formal physician evaluation board, no. Appealed to the Office of the Secretary of the Air Force, again, no. The third denial came with this explanation, that there are opposing interpretations of hazardous duty. The Air Force contends a condition arising out of a basic domestic training flight sortie would not necessarily qualify. Rather, duties must involve some exposure to actual or simulated armed conflict. Schuld says even under that definition, he should have qualified.
We're teaching dogfighting skills.
As Lieutenant Colonel Jeremy Schuld battled for benefits with the Air Force, he said he was targeted at the local level.
The chain of command has basically looked at him as a malingerer, a kind of maybe a waste of their resources now that he's injured. He can't perform, he can't fly anymore. And so they've treated him as exactly that.
Jeremy Sorensen's from the nonprofit group US JAG. He helped advocate for Lieutenant Colonel Schuld and for other service members who believe they faced retribution after they were injured during their service and sought benefits.
The entire process is built to put as many obstacles and barriers up in front of the service members between them and the benefits, their medical care, the pay that they're guaranteed by federal law.
In Schuld's case, his commander wrote this letter of reprimand, claiming the lieutenant colonel was AWOL, absent without leave for several days. It's a very serious charge.
It was days that I was sick, and it was other days that I was collecting medical records or going to medical appointments, and it was missing work because of the injuries.
Schuld explained his whereabouts, admitted to a lack of communication, but said he did not lie or intend to mislead his command. The 161st Command Staff responded by issuing this, an officer-grade determination notification, an extraordinary measure sending notice of his misconduct to the Secretary of the Air Force for possible demotion in rank and pay.
It was a tremendous amount of stress, anxiety, just like the mental health aspect of it was horrendous. Up until the day I retired, I did not know if I was going to retire as a lieutenant colonel.
Schuld did keep his rank, but his battle for benefits is not over. He's now planning to make one final appeal to the Air Force Board for Correction of Military Records.
My hope is that the questions can be asked at a much higher level and answers can be demanded.
If Schuld wins his appeal, he'll get a tax-free combat-related special compensation payment each month on top of his current military retirement and VA disability payments.
And you being a fairly young man, I'm going to guess this is, over your lifetime, could be hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's why Schuld and his supporters question if another reason is behind all these Air Force denials.
I think the Department of Defense has a financial incentive to deny everybody, and so they make up their own rules and just deny people across the board. It's not just me.
We reached out to the Air Force, and officials there said that they didn't have any comment about Jeremy Schuld beyond what's in the documents that ABC 15 has obtained for this story. Now, the Air National Guard here in Arizona did send us a statement, and it says that Schuld's concerns were brought to leadership's attention, which prompted an internal review. This review is ongoing, adding, "We are committed to fostering a positive and inclusive work environment. We take claims of this nature seriously and will continue our thorough review to address any issues that affect the well-being of our guardsmen." We will also be following up on that internal review here at the National Guard, as well as Jeremy's appeal to the Air Force for the combat-related special compensation. I'm investigator Melissa Blasius, ABC 15, Arizona.
Melissa, thanks. If you want the investigators to look into your battle for benefits or any other issue, email us at investigators@abc15.com or call the number there on your screen. You can also find their award-winning investigations streaming now on our ABC 15 app.